With the release of Witcher 3 Next Gen, it is fair to say that for many PC gamers, the latest update has been a bit of a palaver. The backlash and vitriol came strong and fast and was aimed directly at CD Projekt Red. And so today's video is just that. Is it okay to hate on game companies when free content makes a situation worse? Is it that gamers' patience with poor releases has finally reached a tipping point? Or is it just that gamers need a little bit more perspective? Well, there's plenty to discuss in today's video, my young Padawan, so grab yourself a cup of tea and let's have a chat. At the time of the video publication, the Witcher 3 Next Gen update is still causing major issues. Reggie and the boys can confirm this, as I'm playing with an RTX 3080 with all the bells and whistles, and even at 1440p, I'm still experiencing wild frame drops and stutters. Ray tracing in particular seems to be a major contributing factor here, but even so, other gamers are experiencing dramatic frame drops with ray tracing off. Console versions do seem to be far more stable, but there are even reports on some Reddit posts of PlayStation users having their entire save files wiped out. Oh bloody dear. Now the next gen update promised much, apart from some additional content update in the form of a new quest inspired by the ever so sexy Henry Cavill's role in the Netflix series. There are also some quality of life changes, as well as some graphical touches to re-inject higher quality assets. Ray tracing, however, was perhaps the star of the show here, promising a new look to locations. Now I can't deny the changes for Reggie appear subtle at first glance, but absolutely do they add much needed pizzazz to proceedings. I can absolutely see myself playing through the whole saga, DLC included, all over again. And isn't it wonderful to be able to give old games a lease of life like this? Now many companies would put these types of patches behind payware and look no further than a director's cut of either Ghost of Tsushima or Death Stranding to see what I mean. These $10 DLC patches are perhaps a kick in the teeth for some of us, but people have got to get paid. No one works for free, my pedigree chums. And so with this Witcher 3 Next Gen update, it is perhaps difficult to see why there is so much hatred here, as the patch brings a game from 2015 primed and ready for 2023, all for the measly sum of $0. And yet the social media comments are rife. On the official Twitter account, CD Projekt Red acknowledges there's some issues and they are working on them. We have comments here though that state mods are more next gen than your remake. Now the bloke calling it a remake is a bit deluded, but still the comments continue. 2 years making this update and the performance is garbage on a high-end PC. Did anyone even test it out before releasing it? And finally, what I want to know is why you released this garbage. Didn't you know it was broken? I think the Cockney Gamer Gang gets the gist here in that people, they're pissed off. Now we will come back to some other nicer comments later to add some balance to this video, but are people right to feel aggrieved? Well, the answer is both a yes and no. If your game is experiencing issues such as stutters and poor optimization, then perhaps a bit of perspective is needed. The fact console is running better is a good sign, as the PC should be able to match this and more in due course as those patches get released. It's an old game that's been given some poorly applied makeup, but I'm convinced CD Projekt won't want another bad PR mission on their hands, especially after Cyberspunk, and so they are going to get it sorted. However, those that are angry, who've lost game files, or whether the game is now totally unplayable with crash after crash, certainly there is an understanding here. No patch should make a game worse, and for those that have lost potentially hundreds of hours from this update, it's a huge kick in the teeth and one that needs to be addressed. Now in fairness, the Witcher team did build up the hype here. We saw countless articles and videos from the likes of IGN and GameSpot etc. on what was promised. Looking back, it now seems obvious as to why the trade press only got a glimpse of the console versions and not the PC version in testing, and that in itself pisses Reggie right off, because it's almost like CD Projekt didn't learn from the Cyberspunk debacle. But let's add some additional balance here, people. It wasn't my intention to do this video today. In fact, I wanted to review a new air traffic simulator called Tower 3. It cost Reggie $50 bloody, and it was an unmitigated disaster, as it simply was unplayable on my system. So I had to refund it, but for many people, that is not always possible. And so, looking at this free update that promises so much and mainly delivers on those promises, we have to salute CD Projekt Red here for at least giving this beloved franchise new life. And in those comments from earlier, there is much to be positive about too, with fans saying thank you for the free update, no one should be complaining about a free upgrade, and the game is beyond amazing, so a couple more days waiting is well worth it. And there it is, people, the perspective that we are after. You see, by the time this video ages a week, this whole fiasco could be over, and it will just go to highlight how insane some of us gamers can be. Who can forget the death threats directed to a reviewer for giving God of War Ragnarok a mediocre score? However, if you're watching this in March 2023 and the same issues persist, and gamers can't play the game without it crashing on them and game save files continue to be lost, then we need to have a much wider debate as an industry around game refunds, because if you buy a game in good faith and a few years later it breaks due to what a developer releases in the form of a patch, did you really get what you paid for? Maybe that's a can of worms for another day, but drop your comments below, play nice, and hit that subscribe and like button to help power that YouTube algorithm. Lovely stuff. Love to you all. Reggie out.